Two Rivers Talks is brought to you by Two Rivers Biz Starts.
Welcome to Two Rivers Talks. I'm Todd.
I'm Darla.
And we're so glad you're able to join us again today here on our fourth episode. Wow.
Kind of fifth because we had episode 0.
Episode 0, yes,
yeah.
In season 0.
Right. Now we're episode 4 in season 1.
So anyways, we're glad you're with us. Two Rivers Talks is for people living in Two Rivers, or if you used to live in Two Rivers, or if you're thinking about coming here to live. We talk about all the great things that are happening in town. We usually have a special guest who talks a little bit about their business or something interesting that they're doing, as well as a musical guest as well. And so this month is no exception. Happy holidays to everybody.
Yeah.
I kind of got spruced up a little bit here.
I know. I feel underwhelming.
No. We get the tree, and it's just very
Which is probably coming.
You get a Christmas poinsettia behind you. You know.
Okay.
It all works out very, very well. Anyways, in today's episode, who are we going to be speaking with, Darla?
We'll be talking with Mr. Paul Vidas. He is president of Nvolved, Inc., which is connecting students to community life through volunteer service and work-based learning. And I know I just pronounced his name wrong, so when we interview him, we will get the pronunciation of his name correct.
We're also really happy to have in the studio a return guest, Mr. Lee Nudelman, musician extraordinaire. He appeared in our first episode,
correct,
with the Roadhouse Drifters, and then we also have a guitarist who's going to be joining him for today, Mr. Marvin Now, and he's a longtime resident of Two Rivers. I understand he repairs musical instruments,
correct,
as well as is a very good player too.
Right. And one thing that I learned is that he also worked for the city for a number of years, but I'm not sure what capacity.
Okay.
But so he's got a very deep, fond connection with Two Rivers.
Is there a town minstrel position?
There could be.
There could be. Okay.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it would be kind of neat.
He can be the town crier too.
Okay.
12 o'clock and all as well.
Very good. All right. Well, why don't we turn to the news and talk a little bit about events coming up. What's happening?
Well, one thing that we found out was Two Rivers Woodland Dunes is one of the first sites in the state of Wisconsin that will have new bird tracking technology, and I thought that was kind of cool.
It's a neat story. Yeah, I think it was in the Herald Times.
Yes.
Neat story about it. Check it out. Also, on the topic of outdoors, snow and ice is going to be removed from any public sidewalk within 24 hours from the time when the snow ceases to fall.
Right.
So before that, please be careful out there.
Oh, definitely.
We know it gets treacherous.
Right, and make sure that you remove your snow and ice off your sidewalks in a timely manner. Otherwise, the Public Works will come around and take care of it for you, and then you get a bill.
So you don't want that.
You don't want that. And also, Bishop Hill 3 Wind Energy Center is now online. When customers of Two Rivers Water and Light flip on a light switch or plug in a device, they now receive more than twice as much of their electricity from wind power, which I think is really cool.
That is neat. Yeah.
And the additional renewable energy is generated at the new Bishop Hill 3 Wind Energy Center, which is actually out of state.
Really?
It's over the border. And according
over in Michigan? Or?
I think it's in Illinois. It's like northern Illinois. And
wow.
According to Ken Kozak, who's our electric director, not only are we adding more renewable energy to our power supply portfolio with this, but we are doing so more cost effectively. So hopefully we'll see some translation in our bills in the future.
That's really great news, and nice that we're being a little friendlier to our environment at the same time. Great. Well, all of that extra power is going to allow us to take our tour of the holiday lights this year. You can check out the best displays in the Manitowoc and Two Rivers area and find them on an ever-expanding map on hdrnews.com.
Right.
And we'll have a link down in the show notes for you, so you can just jump right over there to the article and then jump onto the Google map and see all the marked spots. And I think you can actually add your own holiday display to it. So help us build a really splendid Christmas light map.
I think that would be
beautiful.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you see someone who's gone, because there's people in our community who have gone to a lot of effort.
Yeah,
And
right.
if they're not on the list, make sure that they get on the list so that they're. And I remember going around looking. We always went looking at the lights.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, and I'd go with my parents.
That's like a thing you do. You get the car, you go around the
Right.
neighborhoods, and yeah.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Right.
So we never had a map, so so
Sure.
we were seeing a lot of stuff that really wasn't all that fantastic.
This way you don't have to miss anything.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Now, I know this next one you're really excited
Yes, I
about.
am.
Why don't you tell us about it?
Okay, special announcement. It was, I know, he had a, what is the Morse code?
Yeah, I guess so.
For
yeah.
cool, yay! How do you do yay in Morse code? Beep, beep, beep.
I'm sure somebody knows.
It probably. It was announced on Tuesday the 4th that Sir Paul McCartney is going to be playing Lambeau Field in June of 2019. And
Yay.
yeah, thank you very much for reading that part. Tickets will be available for sale to the general public this coming Monday the 10th at 10 a.m. However, pre-sale tickets have already been snatched up by 3 authorized ticket agencies.
Boo.
Exactly. And they are listing, I think, fairly reasonably from $59 per ticket, which would you'd be down on the field, it would be standing room
Yeah.
only. It would be not even stadium seating, I'm sure.
The groundlings. Yeah.
The groundlings.
For Sir Paul.
Yes. Hey, I saw him in Quebec.
Yeah.
When my family and I went there for the 400th birthday of Quebec.
Okay.
And he was out on the battlefield. There was over 400,000 people there.
Oh wow.
And
That's
what was really neat is that when I made the arrangements for us to go on vacation, had no clue he was going to be there. It just happened to be we were there at the right place at the right time.
I love it when stuff like that happens.
I know, it was
Yeah.
very cool. So they're starting from $59 going up to about $279. The VIP tickets are starting at about $500 each, which seems actually pretty reasonable for Paul McCartney. The ticket agencies are listed below in the doobly-doo whatchamacallit
Down in the
show notes.
show notes. Yeah.
I just
The
kind of like the
doobly-doo.
doobly-doo.
Yeah, it's the doobly-doo. We'll call it that. Very good, very good. So that's we should have ended on that instead
I
of
know.
like we've got a little bit of sad news. We just heard that Paradise Foods, the restaurant that was at the old M&M restaurant, it's going to be closing, unfortunately. Now the proprietor is still going to be running her Mexican food truck,
Correct.
which has great food. And we wish them well. But if any of you are out there and thinking about opening up a restaurant, this would be a turnkey operation. I know they renovated the whole place.
Right.
So a very nice opportunity for somebody that wants to move into really prime, easy to get in, easy to get out, kind of spot.
Right.
Right on the main Two Rivers downtown drag. So if you're interested in that, you can maybe contact us. We can put you in touch with the right people, or maybe
that.
Roger Russo with Two Rivers Main Street or something
Right.
like that.
And his
Yeah.
contact information is down in the show notes
Yeah.
for Main Street. Look
All
up
for
Main
you.
Street,
All for you.
which we try. We really do. And going on to the TR calendar, City Council meeting, there's going to be one on Monday, December 17th at 6 p.m., 3rd floor at City Hall.
Great. And then we also have some reminders. Winter parking restrictions are in effect from now through March the 15th.
Right.
So it is officially winter.
Right. Oh, and I did mention sidewalk, snow, and ice removal twice. One thing I have.
But it was news before. This is just in the calendar now, right?
Right. Now it is in the calendar. All right, sorry, but I believe in redundancy. But one thing I failed to mention before is that no blowing or depositing of snow or ice in the street, because it creates a traffic hazard and is unlawful.
Oh, sure, that just makes sense.
Yeah.
Don't blow your snow
Right.
into the street.
Right,
Yeah.
and offenders are subject to fines, so just make sure it gets cleared in a timely fashion and it ends up where it's supposed to, and that everything will be kosher.
Very good, very good. There is some news from Two Rivers Main Street. They've got a couple of items here. If you have not yet gotten your Main Street raffle calendar,
Right.
they are still available for a mere $20 each at the following places. Right here at Basil Ishkabibble's Art Gallery and Shared Space. Dalebro Jewelry. I cannot say Dale Bro Jewelry.
I know.
I have to really slow myself up.
I know, me too.
I'm going to have to practice that. Okay. Seeds and Beans, and over at Schrader's across the street, and also at the Two Rivers Main Street office at the third floor of City Hall. I think they're doing a number of drawings. They're drawings every week.
Every week,
yeah.
And plus more.
So lots of prizes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, lots of cash prizes for it. So it's a no-brainer. It's better odds than playing the lottery for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
And I've sold several so far, and those actually make really good Christmas presents because everybody needs a new calendar, and this one there might be a happy little by the way that comes along with it. So come on in and get one.
I thought you were going to say a happy little clown. I'm like, did Bob Ross do paintings in the?
No, all right.
Okay.
Happy little squirrel.
Happy little squirrel.
A happy little woohoo! I won something today. That's always a good thing.
Right. And kids, if you don't know who Bob Ross is, Google him.
And watch his stuff. Well, you'll be so relaxed. We want to put out a shout out for shopping local. When you spend $100 at a locally owned independent business, approximately or on average $68 stays in Two Rivers. When you spend $100 at a big box store, only about less than 50%, $43, stays in Two Rivers. That extra $25 supports local causes. It helps to employ your friends and family, and it makes Two Rivers a better place to live, work, and play. And of course, if you shop online or out of town, $0 remains in Two Rivers.
I really like that you put some numbers behind that. I assume that the city did some study around that, or Two Rivers Main Street, Roger with Two Rivers Main Street, because it's you sort of hear the mantra all the time: shop local, shop local. Well, why should I shop local?
Exactly.
Well, because it's money that stays here, and it helps people have a livelihood, and we're not feeding these mega corporations, but we're feeding families right here at Two Rivers,
Right.
and I'm passionate about that. As you can
I
tell,
know.
right?
I know you are. Do you want to tell us the top 10 reasons?
Well, I thought what we could do is we could kind of alternate here.
Okay.
So we, like a Dave Letterman top 10 list.
Oh, all right.
We're really dating ourselves right now. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the top 10 reasons to buy local, eat local, go local. Reason number 1.
Build community.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I think so.
Reason number 2. These aren't as funny as I thought they were going to be, but
You got to do it.
Hello all. Good day. My name is Joey the Outback Orangutan. I'm Joey the Outback Orangutan, saying right now that I'm sorry to inform you we've had a small batch of technical difficulties here. So we've lost 2 points on this list in the recording. And so I'm going to repeat them to you right now, so as we don't have to go and re-record, which would be a big to-do. I don't want to make a big to-do out of it, so I'm just going to tell you right now what those 2 points are. Number 2 is, it'll strengthen your local economy. It's always nice to have a strong local economy, I think. Growing up, my father always said to me, Joey, you gotta have a strong local economy. And I've always took that point to heart. My old dad, he's dead now, I'm sorry to say. Excuse me. I know it's a family show, but you got some darkness, creeps in there. Excuse me. And point 3 is it'll shape our character. When my old man told me that having a local economy is good, strong local economy, it really strengthened my character, I think. It really solidified my heart, and I think it's probably good for all you fine people to understand this too. Let's go back to the people that you all know and love. Thanks for your time, Joey the Outback Ostrich. Goodbye.
anyways, number 4. you can buy it where you try it. I usually think of it the opposite. You can try it where you buy it, but you're going to buy it where you try it.
Where you try it on.
Okay.
Like a pair of shoes.
Sure. Okay.
You want to make sure that they fit, because trust me, I've bought shoes online that I thought,
Oh yeah. That's
not a problem.
Right.
Yeah, big problem.
And then it's a problem, right?
It is. And you can get real value for yourself.
Number 6, you enhance your choices.
You really do.
Because there's more local stuff and you can see it, and it tends to be more unique than a lot of the big box store, kind of items that you see, right?
You can increase the wealth of residents, and that would be like the residents who are the owners of the businesses.
Number 8, you can create jobs and opportunities, which is incredibly important.
And you're also giving back to your community.
And finally, number 10, you will gain our undying praise and admiration.
That's awesome.
From us, yes, from us to you, because we love you guys. So we do.
Yeah, we kind of do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we
wouldn't be doing this, right?
Oh, read your mind. Jinx.
Jinx. Okay, moving right along.
I won.
You did. Let's talk a little bit about Two Rivers Business Association.
Okay.
If you are a local business owner, you should know that the Two Rivers Business Association has been in this community for 50 years. I just learned that recently. They're your resource for connecting with the local business community. January is a great time to join. Membership is just $80 for any local business, whether you're retail, professional services, or whatever. Anybody can join in. Meetings are the first Thursday of the month, 7:30 a.m., right over at the Lighthouse Inn. They serve a great breakfast over there. And I was just at the last event. I'm actually going to be a board member over there now.
So, you are?
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Started next year. I started a 3-year term with those guys.
Wow.
And really excited to be a part of that group, because I think that they're going to grow this year, and I think I'm definitely going to be pushing to grow the membership and make sure that it's delivering a lot of value for the area.
I think that's wonderful.
Not me personally, but I really want to push for that though.
Well, good.
So.
I think they needed kind of an infusion of enthusiasm.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of good people there. Yeah.
There are,
yeah.
But I think because you're kind of like fresh blood.
Fresh meat.
Jeez.
Anyways, moving right along. I was to their December meeting here, and we had a special meeting out at the Two Rivers High School, which was amazing because we got to see the show choir perform at Two Rivers High School, and they were fantastic. If any of you are watching, really nice job. Some really very beautiful voices. They sang a couple of Christmas carols for us, and it was just really cute choreography. They did a nice job of, the guys and the girls kind of dancing together and stuff.
Sure.
It was very nicely done. So
I think that's wonderful. Both my kids were in show choir when they were in high school, and the level of talent that those kids possess out there, and a lot of it I have to attribute to the dedication and just the talent of the teachers.
Well, it's got to be, right? They get infected by that excitement.
Oh, yeah.
And want to do more. So that's great.
I'm glad you had a chance to see them.
Yeah, and those kids have to be very dedicated too, because they take that outside of their normal day of classes.
Right.
They come in at like 7 a.m. every day.
That's right.
To practice for that. So I give them a lot of credit for that. That's very nice.
And Leicester Public Library.
A lot of stuff going on.
There is a lot.
Yeah.
This I thought sounded really cool. It's called The Grinch and Ms. Q. Ms. Q, the letter Q. And it's going to be on Thursday, December 20th at 6:30 p.m. and it ends at 7:30 p.m. Wear your pajamas and join us for a special retelling of Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
I love it.
I know. This is the best part. It will be featuring Two Rivers School District Administrator Lisa Quistor.
Miss Q.
Ms. Q.
Miss Q, right, okay.
Which almost sounds like Miss Q. Like a Miss Q. Anyway, Ms. Q. And then after the story, participants get to create a Grinch-inspired project and enjoy a cup of hot chocolate.
Hocho.
Do that again.
Hocho.
Thank you. It is fun for the whole family, and no registration is required.
It was better that I did that than sing You're Mean with Mr. Grinch, but another time. There are some grown-up events during the next 2 weeks as well, including card making, like Christmas card making, right?
I don't know.
You can join instructor Carolee Crabb to create handmade cards. The cost is just $7 for materials. Please bring double stick tape and scissors of your own, if you will. No, I think it'll be great. I used to make my own Christmas cards.
I think I did a couple times too, and then after a while
It gets tedious.
It does. You know, it's kind of.
You're glad you did it, but then
Right.
like the next year you're sort of like, oh my gosh, am I going to do this again? And,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, but it takes. Neither you or I has a lot of extra hours in the day, so.
Right.
But it is kind of nice to do it for those 1 or 2 or 3 people that.
It is.
You really
The
want to do
special,
something
right.
special
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
Also at the library, I'm sorry, you had me laugh hard and I kind of cried a little bit deep down inside where it counts.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
That's
now
good.
it's leaking
Mission
out.
accomplished.
It leaked out a little bit. Anyway, at the library, Foreign Film Festival, or Foreign Film Series. Watch a movie on our big screen, no registration required. Bring a beverage, soft drink, water, and the library will provide the popcorn. It's for adults 18 and older, and they will be showing Sweet Bean.
Sweet Bean.
Oh my God, you're gonna kill me. On Tuesday, January 15th at 6 p.m. And I believe that this is a Chinese film.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. And the story is the manager of a pancake stall finds himself confronted with an odd but sympathetic elderly woman looking for work. A taste of her homemade bean jelly convinces him to hire her, which starts a relationship that is about much more than just street food.
Bean jelly.
Relationship. Okay, gotta go, because I mean...
What's interesting to me about this is that this introduces a pancake theme, which will come back.
Yes, I think pancakes will always come back and slap us in
That's true.
somewhere.
Slap us in the flapjacks. All right. Anyways, another program going on at the library, moving right along, is Cool City Writers. If you are a writer, you can receive encouragement, feedback, and gentle critique.
Right.
No matter what your genre or writing form, whether it's poetry, fiction, nonfiction, screenplay writing, haiku, whatever it happens
Limerick.
to be, right? Limericks, dirty limericks, probably not dirty limericks. Everybody's welcome though. Sessions will include writing prompts, topics, and feedback. Participants can read their work out loud to receive criticism, constructive criticism,
Right.
from fellow writers. It's a very nurturing group. The group is led by Lori Conrad. Meetings are held the third Thursday of every month in the library's Webster Room. So if you decide to attend, please bring a notebook and a writing instrument. Could be crayon, that's okay. Whatever your instrument of choice is. No registration is required, so just show up.
Yeah, and I think that there's a real resurgence in writing. Poetry in particular. In fact, on Monday night, I was down at Kathy's Irish Stage Door Pub.
Oh, down in Manitowoc,
In
right?
Manitowoc,
Okay.
and they had a poetry slam
Awesome.
night, and I ended up reading some of mine.
Yeah.
I hadn't really planned on
Your
it.
poetry's awesome. I've heard some of your stuff.
Oh,
so,
well, thank
yeah,
you.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people there, and I've been to some events up in the Green Bay area, but there is a resurgence, and there seems like, so if you have ever wanted to write poetry or short stories or whatever that you do, I think this is something that you might want to look into and get started and get creative.
Great way to hone your craft.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And sharing it in front of people is a little daunting, but you start to get used to it, and it helps you with your public speaking as well.
It's the only way you get better at it.
Right, is just.
I keep working
just
on
do
my
it.
public speaking.
Yeah, well, I'll keep mentoring you.
Thank
don't
you.
worry.
Thank you. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. And then also at the library, youth programs that are going to be going on within the next 2 weeks.
So the previous ones were adult programs. Now this is youth programs.
Right.
Okay.
This is for the littler beings, carbon-based.
Tiny ones.
Yeah,
Yes.
the carbon-based life forms
Yes.
that stroll among us. They're going to have story time.
Try to crack me up now.
And I will, before the end of this. Enjoy stories, music, finger plays, movement activities, drama, and puppetry that enhance the 5 early literacy practices, which are read, sing, play, talk, and write. Story time concludes with a simple story-based project, and stories are chosen for preschoolers but children of all ages are welcome and no registration is required.
Okay, great. And then the second program is Gingerbread Man Loose in the Library! Exclamation point, right? That's almost like breaking news. Gingerbread Man Loose in the Library! News at 11. Math, science, Tinker Toys, cookies. Complete an obstacle course, play a giant dice game, decorate cookies, build sweet structures with toy Twizzlers and gumdrops, and figure out which body part of a gingerbread man cookie most kids like to bite off first. It's not just fun. Kids will utilize all sorts of skills to meet the challenges for all ages. No registration required, but wow, okay.
I so badly want to comment on this, but
it's a youth program.
It is, I know.
Okay.
And well, deep down inside, I actually am a lady, so I'm not going to say anything. And I'm going to go on to library team programs that'll be occurring within the next 2 weeks. The teen do-it-yourself holiday, they're going to be making beaded zipper pulls. And a solution for that little something that you want to make for family or friends. They will have all the supplies on hand. You will string beads together to make colorful creations that will add pizzazz to jackets, purses, and luggage. Jazz hands.
Pizzazz.
Okay. Spend as little or as much time as you like. No registration required. It's for ages 10 and up. And oh, by the way, how did my headband turn out?
Working on it.
Yeah, right. All right, take it away.
The second teen program is the teen late night at the library, and after hours evening at the library, computers, video games, snacks, and hanging out with friends. Permission slips are required and may be picked up at the library's help desk beginning December 3rd, so anytime now.
Right.
So it's for teens who are between 6th and 12th grade.
Right. And in the TR schools, Two Rivers High School, and we've mentioned this in our last couple broadcasts.
We're sorry. Technical difficulties have prevented the immediate continuation of the current program to commence. Technicians are on hand working to correct the issue so that we may bring you back to the show currently in progress. In the meantime, we shall try to distract you with colorful lights and pleasant sounds. Thank you for your patience.
Two Rivers High School students are raising funds for a trip to Europe. They will be selling Saruji candy bars to acquire capital in hopes of making their intercontinental dreams a reality. The students will be traveling to Italy in the spring of 2020. For more information, contact a relevant TRHS social studies student participating in the fundraiser.
The issue has been resolved. We return you now to our scheduled programming.
So we have some sports events coming up too, but there are just way too many to list.
Right.
So instead what we're going to do is suggest that you go check the school district calendar for more information. We've got a link down in the show notes.
That's correct. You don't say doobly-doo anymore.
Well, you seem to like saying it so much. I don't like to take that away from you.
Okay, because I've grown rather fond of it.
It's down in the doobly-doo.
Yeah,
right,
or
okay.
Otherwise known as a whatchamacallit. But,
okay.
But anyway, and then also there's going to be a school board meeting on Monday, December the 10th at 6 p.m.
Great. We also have some news from the Two Rivers Senior Center. The Christmas celebration is going to be held on Friday, December the 14th at 11 a.m. in the Community House Gymnasium. And entertainment is going to be provided by the Touch of Harmony Quartet. And
Sorry.
there will be a 12 p.m. noon meatloaf Christmas lunch. That sounds like fun. And $4 donation if you are over 60 years old, and $5 if you're under 60 years old.
So it's only going to cost us $5.
All right.
Cool.
That's a cheap lunch.
It is.
I like
I
it.
love meatloaf too.
Very good, very good.
And on Tuesday the 18th, there's going to be a bake sale over at the Senior Center, and on Wednesday the 19th is their monthly birthday lunch.
Birthday lunch munch.
Okay. Oh no, you're going to get me laughing again.
I'm going to try.
Okay.
All right. There are a series of other recurring events, of course. Movies, bowling league, bingo, drumming for fitness, quilting, silver sneakers yoga, mahjong, dominoes, dartball, bunco, cribbage, sheep's head, knit and stitch, and line dancing.
Right.
That's an awful lot of stuff. And
Oh yes, Zumba Gold.
Zumba Gold.
Seated.
Seated.
And we're going.
We're gonna go
Yes.
with our gold pants.
Yes. Yes. I did order gold pants for both myself and for Todd. And Todd got to see his today for the very first time. And actually, they're very cool.
Okay.
And mine are gold lame. So we're going. It's just going to be fun. And
It'll be a good time.
I
Yeah.
was looking on the senior calendar, and actually that day we can actually be there for a little while. We can also do silver sneaker yoga.
Okay.
We can play cribbage, and then we can do our Zumba Gold.
I don't know how to play cribbage, but I'll play mahjong if somebody wants to.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, but there are a couple things
Okay,
happening
all right,
all on
that
that same
sounds
day.
like
You
fun.
might as well get footage from a little of everything.
I love it. That sounds good.
So-
Sounds good. All right. Next up, I want to hear all about this. I know you were there,
Right.
but the Two Rivers Fire Department did a breakfast with Santa,
Right.
and I wasn't able to be there, but you were able to be there. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the event?
Oh, okay. All right. It was a lot of fun. It was held on December 2nd over at the fire department. It was sponsored by the Two Rivers Local 423 and Fox Communities Credit Union, and all proceeds went to charity. They did a spectacular job. And yummy pancakes were prepared by Uncle Pancake.
Darn, I missed him.
I know. Well, it was a really nice setup. He didn't wear anything odd. I thought it would be like, like hippie pancake dude or something like that. But they were very professional, and the crowd totally enjoyed being served the pancakes, because they were getting flipped all over the place.
Yeah,
It was
I'm
really
given to
cool.
understand they actually like flip the pancakes
Yeah.
at you.
Yes.
And you have to like catch them on a plate.
Yeah, if you want to. Otherwise, they'll
amazing.
just serve them up.
We're going to see footage of this.
Yes.
Okay,
And when the crowd was going through, they got their pancakes. Everyone went and sat down, and they enjoyed the pancakes as they listened to live music that was performed by Cal Nadel of Maribel, who played bass guitar, and guitarist Edward Kakis, who is the proud father of Two Rivers firefighter paramedic Chad Kakis.
Oh, very nice.
And it was Chad who was the organizer for this year's event.
Well, sounds like he did an amazing job.
He did,
Yeah.
and it was so cool. And and then Santa arrived at 11 a.m. and was greeted by over 150 moms, dads, and excited children. And when I was there, I took a lot of footage, and we're going to be editing that together for a specific segment that will follow our calendar of events, so that you can see what was going on that day. And the kids were adorable. The moms and dads had a good time. They were there with other young mothers and fathers and their young children, and it was just it was a nice social gathering.
That's awesome. Yeah.
The music was great. The man who was, Santa showed up at 11.
Right.
And I got
Okay.
the arrival of Santa, and the kids just went nuts. And it was very, very cool. But you will see all of that in the following segment. And I never did that when my kids were small. They've been doing this for over 15 years. And now I'm kicking myself that I never brought my kids down to do this.
Yeah.
So, what you gonna do?
Hopefully we spread the word to some others, and it'll become even bigger and bigger.
I hope
as it goes
so.
forward. That's great.
It was wonderful.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a look at that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So just to kind of wrap up here a little bit, one other bit of news that we had was that the inaugural pub crawl that took place to support the Haiti dental mission, brought to you by Two Rivers Family Dental, was super successful. Saturday, December the 1st at Lee's Never Inn is where it kicked off. And we learned that they raised close to $8,000.
That's amazing.
Incredible. The money's going to go to supplies, equipment, expenses for the trip they're going to take to I'm going to get this wrong, Los Cacos, in Haiti, going to Haiti. And then any of the extra money goes to the missionary work that goes there. Dr. Chris Hansen from Two Rivers Family Dental said, "Your generosity will ensure that those who are most needy will receive some relief from ongoing dental infections and pain. They will know that they are not forgotten."
That is wonderful. And I applaud Dr. Hansen and Two Rivers Family Dental for doing this.
I think it's great. Yeah.
It really is. And
Two Rivers going global. Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
and I mean, we're a small community, but we are out in the larger world in more ways than one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but
Yeah.
seriously, bless them for their fine work and for caring
Congratulations.
about other people who are in desperate need.
Absolutely.
And I do have one shout out today.
Yes.
And I get to do this one?
You get to do this one,
Okay.
of course you do.
I just want to say happy birthday to my son Jack LeClair, who turned 23 years old today. And
Happy birthday, old man.
and today's date is December 7th. You won't see this video this episode until after today because we have to do the editing. But it's Pearl Harbor Day, and so it's always really easy to remember when his birthday is. Plus, I remember it felt like I dropped a bomb when I had him.
Oh,
so,
hello.
So it was like the perfect day. But
Bye, everybody. No.
But sweetheart, I love you very much. You've turned out to make both your dad and me very proud, and I hope you're having a wonderful birthday today. And I can't wait until I can give you the present that I picked out for you because it's fantastic and I like giving gifts. So that wraps it up. The next thing that we will show will be the segment from the Two Rivers Fire Department Breakfast with Santa. And then we will be having our very first guest, who is Mr. Paul Vidas.
Vidas. Yeah.
Vidas. Followed by
A couple of musical gentlemen, Mr. New and Mr. Noodleman.
Mr. Now and Mr. New.
Mr. Now and Mr. Noodleman, sorry.
You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not talk, 'cause I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a list, checking it twice, gonna find who's gonna be your nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake, he knows if you've been Santa Claus, so they will look for goodness sake. You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not talk, 'cause I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. With a bit horn and little boy goes. Little girl dogs and little good, little dog boys and good. Santa Claus is coming to town. He knows when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake, he knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not talk, 'cause I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Welcome back, everybody. We are very pleased to have with us Mr. Paul Vidas, of the founder of Get Involved.
Yes, yep. It's my idea. I did it. Yep.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, we want to hear all about it. We're really excited to know a little bit more about the program and the history of it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your connection to Two Rivers?
Actually, I'm from Appleton. I spent 30 years there.
Okay.
And I worked at the YMCA and for 20 years, and the United Way 7 of those years. And I married a woman from Manitowoc who was working in Appleton. And then one day she said, "I want to move to Manitowoc." And we talked about it for a while. And she said I could come with, and that's good. So,
Nice.
we moved to Two Rivers. We bought a lot out in Sandy Ridge Highlands.
Okay.
And it's very nice. Love it. It's a great place to build a house, that's for sure. And of course, they just opened that new portion of that subdivision, and it's just a very nice place to live. Two Rivers is wonderful. So I left, my friends and everybody I knew in Appleton and came over here, but I found it very easy to make friends here. There's a wonderful music scene.
Yes.
I play chess, so I found a chess club right away down in Manitowoc, and
Very interesting.
got hooked up there.
I'm gonna have to get hooked up with them.
You like to play chess?
I do.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not wonderful, but
Excellent.
easily beaten. I'm good for someone else's ego, so yeah.
No, there's plenty of chess, but at one point back in the 70s, the Two Rivers High School was the national champions.
I did not know
in
that.
Scholastic chess.
I
Yeah.
had no clue.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's a history here.
There absolutely is. Yeah.
And there are some good chess players in the area. We've got some good chess players in the club, but there's all levels. Sometimes we have kids come in, and I enjoy giving lessons.
Sure.
We do that.
Wow.
In fact, I have a whole bunch of posters in my car right now that are being distributed to the high schools, inviting them to come on down and play chess with us.
Wonderful.
That's really great.
It's a lot of fun.
I feel like we're always peeling the onion back. There's always more layers of talent and interesting stuff going on in the city.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I just want to mention that you'll be back with us on our next episode, which is going to be on December the 20th, is the day that we're going to be shooting it, with Tim Clark.
Yeah.
And it's the Vidas Clark Expedition.
Yes, that name was given to us by someone who was who happened to hear us and just said it. Vidas and Clark Expedition, and said, "Okay, that sounds good. We'll stick with it." So
It does.
we didn't
Okay.
come up with that; someone else did, but it was very nice.
So we look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks.
And what is it going to be? The expedition?
Yeah.
That's the name of their musical
It's-
group.
Oh, it's the name of the group.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a duo.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, surprise.
I didn't know that. Right. I was like, okay.
I just plan stuff and you just have to go along with it.
All right, Darla.
So,
Always the last to know.
It's probably better that way, believe me. Well, anyways, that's very interesting. So, musical talents, chess talents. You're a Renaissance man. That's wonderful.
Well, there's there's plenty of stuff I can't do well. Woodworking is one of them.
Oh.
I'm looking to see if he's got missing fingers.
Yeah.
I don't
You
even
can't be
work
that
with
bad at it. You still have all your digits. So.
It scares me to death. That's true. But there's plenty I can't do. I used to always say there's libraries full of books that I don't know about. There's
Sure.
plenty of stuff I don't know. But there's a few things I've had experience with.
Well, let's talk about one of the things you're really good at. Tell us about the Get Involved program. How did it start, and how long has it been going on, and what kind of good does it do?
Well, Get Involved is an online resource. It's a website that helps high school students find volunteer opportunities and record their experiences. So they can get online, they can find some opportunities, or they can just bring information to the site on stuff that they're already doing that we have no idea about. But they'll enter the data and create a record of that experience. Mm-hmm. And then when they finish creating that record, they can hit a button and it sends an email off to whomever is going to approve that record. Sometimes it's a teacher, sometimes it's somebody out there in the community.
Mm-hmm. Someone who's managed the work experience.
Yeah, it could be a youth pastor, it could be someone at a Boys and Girls Club, it could be you know, somebody at a municipal library. There's lots of different people out there who sign off on these things, but it's all done via email. So there's no more of that, please sign my timesheet thing.
Right.
You know, they don't do that. And so once the record's approved, it becomes part of the student's portfolio online, and it also produces really nice reports for the schools. Now, have I mentioned anything that a teacher has to do?
Not so far. No.
That's the beauty of the system. That
Okay. Okay.
this is a really nice time-saving device that helps teachers do a better job of managing community service, because if you're a National Honor Society, you have to do it. Some schools require community service.
Right,
Yeah.
which we do here.
Yeah. And this just makes that so much easier for the staff at the schools. At the same time, it makes it so much better for the students because they have control of their records. Even after graduation, they can still obtain their records.
Okay.
Now, if you were going to high school and in, let's say, middle of July, you wanted your service records from the school, well, good luck getting that. There's nobody hardly there to answer the phone, much less dig up a ring binder and find your records. You know, it's just very, very difficult. But this makes it all very, very easy and very reliable. We've been doing it for 10 years.
Excellent.
Yeah. This started out when I was with the YMCA. I was the person in the community signing those timesheets. And I was dealing with students from all over the place, different schools. As I was doing that, I thought there's got to be a better way. So that's where it first came to pass. And that was about in the year 2000. I had a large teen symposium that I managed and put on behalf of the United Way and the YMCA. And we had 400 students there and 100 adults. And the idea was we gave them a call to action form that they could fill out, and I put that on a database. That was the first, what we called Teen Action Database. And I could use that to communicate with the students. But it didn't take long before, well, take a couple of years, before they timed out. You know, the students graduated. And back then, not all the students had email addresses.
Sure.
But the ones that did, it was very powerful. A good example would be, I was holding an event for parents and children at the YMCA, and I wanted a piece of music that would be, you know, good for both. And so I just put the question out there, you know, to 200 different students, and I got about 12 responses back, that this piece of music and that piece of music, and I found the one I wanted. And
perfect.
Yeah, so it's a two-way street. There's a dialogue that goes on. But Get Involved came about in 2007, and I actually retired to take over and make that happen.
Okay.
And
so is it a 501c3?
No, it's not.
Or?
It's a for-profit, but if you read what it does and its mission and its vision and mission, it reads like a nonprofit.
Okay.
I've been in the nonprofit world all my life. You know, it hasn't changed. I was first a youth worker when I was 18. I worked at a recreation department down in Nilson. One of the first things I had to do was chaperone a group to the Beatles concert in Chicago. So
wow.
I got paid to go see the Beatles, and it was like, this is good work. I like this work.
That is,
I was going to say, because you've been working with the youth for your entire career.
Yeah.
And I was looking at your background, your education, your grant writing that you've done, and it is fantastic. Tell us, where did you go to school and get your degrees from?
Let's see. Well, I graduated from high school in '66 down in Nilson, which is near Lake Geneva. And I ended up going to Whitewater for a couple of years. I was not the best student, and lost my student deferment, so I enlisted in the Navy.
Oh, wow.
Well, it was that, or I was being drafted, so I figured I better enlist quick. And I did, and spent some time in the Navy, and I came out, and then I went back to school, and then I went to Oshkosh, and I got my undergrad and a master's in education in '76. I went from there to working at a residential treatment center for delinquents up in Green Bay. And then after that, I worked at a dropout prevention program for Allegheny County. And that was a work-based learning program too, because these were potential dropouts or high school dropouts who needed GED, and so I worked in getting them into the GED program at Fox Valley Technical College. At the same time, a work placement somewhere, and then supported the kids through both. When I say supported, there was financial support, because they're making a wage, but it was more counseling and helping them get through,
It's kind of your at-risk
yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
So I think that's just fantastic. And the grant writing, tell us a little bit about that.
I did spend a couple of years as a stay-at-home dad.
Good for you.
Yeah, so I was changing diapers for a couple of years, which is really cool.
Best job ever.
Really? It is. It really is. First of all, as a psychology major.
Okay.
So the idea of watching child development for real, and having the chance to bend it in one way or another, being a dad and a dad who's curious about things, I had a lot of fun being a dad. And now I'm a grandfather, and I'm having just as much fun being a grandfather. I have two young, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Oh, that's wonderful.
2 grandsons.
Really? Oh, my.
Yeah, and I'll be seeing them tomorrow. So
Very
Awesome.
nice. Very
yeah,
nice.
it is fun.
Yeah.
It's just a riot.
So now, the Get Involved program, is it just limited to state of Wisconsin? Or
No,
is it,
no,
is
we
it
have
national?
we have schools. Texas, we have a few schools in Texas. There's a school in Florida, a couple in North Carolina, Louisiana, Mississippi. Yeah, I think I was talking about what a student does when they create a record. Okay, so a student creates a record by just entering the data and filling in a form. When they got all done, they hit submit for approval. The next thing they see on the site is a one-question questionnaire that says, what do you plan to do after high school?
Mm-hmm.
And then we give them higher education options or post-secondary education options, and we try and give them 30 different options, which includes all the 4-year schools, all the 2-year schools, all the technical colleges, trade schools, beautician school, all the different things that are available to them, and we try and give them 30, and the radius goes out as far as it has to in order to get 30.
Mm-hmm.
Now in the Fox Cities, that's a very small radius. There's a lot of stuff there, but out in Montana, that's a very large radius for sure kids. But we try and give them a lot of options, and we're not actually locking them down in any kind of career path or anything like that. All we're getting them to do at that particular moment is to think ahead. You're going to graduate from high school likely, and what are you going to do next? And just think ahead. And this lays out something in front of them, and post-secondary education is going to be critical to almost any career that any student wants to get into. So you might as well prompt them in that direction and let them know what their options are.
Very true. Very true.
So we're not doing anything with the data. That whole technique is just for one thing. Think ahead.
Good to think ahead. Yeah, yeah. Do you have any success stories you'd like to tell us about?
I was thinking, the first thing that hit me was how I successfully learned to be a father and ended up teaching fatherhood. The baby basics, that's another job I had on a weekend, so I would have new and expectant fathers come in, and I would deal with them. That was pretty successful. I had a lot of feedback. And my youth work, I know you're probably talking about getting involved in the student success. But
I was, but I don't want to limit you.
Yeah, I just got a thing on Facebook 2 days ago. Now, I don't get on Facebook very often, but I see a lot of, this has been posted or that's been posted by this person or that person. I really don't check into it very much. But there was one post from about 2 days ago from a student I had back in the day. And in fact, he was the kid who wrote the first Get Involved program.
Oh,
okay.
He was a kind of a technically oriented guy, and he went on and went into IT. And when I said, "Gee, I really could use something to refresh my database," he's the one that said, "Put it on the web. I'll give you a hand," and started out with it. So anyway, I had a Facebook post, And I clicked on it, opened it up, and it was a picture of some kids I had worked with back then
Really?
in the YMCA.
Oh, nice.
Like, I don't know, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
30 years ago
Wow.
at least. And it was like, here are these kids, and I know they're all grown up and have families now, but it was something called Family Night. And what happened was those kids raised money through selling popcorn at the YMCA. And then they took that money and sponsored Family Night, which was a free night for people in the community to come and use the Y after hours, basically.
Yeah.
And it was expensive. I think they put up $5 grand that they had made selling popcorn over the course of the year. Now they could have used that for ski trips, Noah's Ark, and things like that, but they didn't. They went in and put it all into this particular program. And I did respond to that Facebook. I said, thanks for the reminder. And then somebody wrote back, is this still going? And then somebody else wrote back, yeah, and they had a thing from the Y, the announcement, the Family Night's on Saturday, and blah, blah, blah. And it all started with that little youth group. So that would be a success. And they were all volunteers. That was a volunteer youth group, so I was steeped in volunteerism. As far as the success stories, no, but I'm quite certain that there are success stories out there. But the thing is, in my way of looking at things, I like evidence-based programming. Mm-hmm. And if you deliver evidence-based programming correctly, you don't have to measure your outcomes, because you just have to know that you're doing it correctly. The outcomes are going to be out there, especially if you're dealing with large numbers like we are. Mm-hmm. Where you have 1.5 million hours of recorded service, 70,000 records, tons of kids.
That's amazing.
Tens of thousands of kids.
Just all the lives that get touched by that, and that this website is serving them as they're thinking about moving ahead in their careers and in their work lives. Yeah.
One record that just popped into my head, that this was early on in this, it was from Menasha High School, and I read the record, and it said, I helped my neighbor clean their garage, and I'm thinking, I said, is the school going to count this or not? I mean, this is kind of, and then you read a little bit further down, because it asks, what did you do?
Right.
What did you learn? And how do you feel about it?
Yeah.
So what did he do? He helped the garage, get cleaned. And then what did he do? He moved out, he towed the lawnmowers and stuff like that, swept out. And so he was describing, how do you feel? And he says, I feel great, because the man in the house had been in a terrible accident and couldn't do this or that, So it was like, oh, that puts a whole new light on this thing.
Yeah.
So in that regard, I would say that's a success. And the thing about it is, if you capture that moment when that young person's feeling good about themselves, and you put it in print, and then when the adults approve these things, they can add their comments.
Right.
And so they say, he did such a wonderful job. I can't thank him enough. That's there. That moment in time is captured. It's always there. And whenever that student flips back and looks at that, they see it.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important in terms of youth development.
It's incredibly important. I mean, how many of us go through our day-to-day and we don't really reflect on like what good we did, or what we were able to accomplish at the end of a project or something like that. And I think that sort of setting the stage for that and getting students in the habit of recording those things and then having them validated by anybody that's looking at that work, just sounds incredibly important.
Well, there's plenty of studies that show that the majority of students, I could say, the large majority of students, don't feel valued by the community. Mm-hmm. And I could quote, Surge Institute had it's a survey, attitudes and behaviors survey. It was given to 1 million kids, 6th grade through 12th grade, and 21% said they did feel valued by the community, which means 89% did not.
Wow.
And so this is one of those ways that we can help youth feel valued by the community. Actually, when I put this whole thing together, that was one of the things that caught me. It's developmental assets, 40 developmental assets. That happens to be asset number 7, feeling valued by the community. And I said, what do you got to do to feel valued by the community? Well, I thought you have to do something of value. You really have to do something of value. And then people have to know about it. And if you can do those two things, you would think a student would feel valued by the community. Mm-hmm. So the logic I used in the very beginning. And this whole idea of capturing what they did, having them reflect on it, then having an adult, see it, approve it, validate their experience, all that's, part of positive youth development. So,
It's wonderful.
So if someone listening is with a school that's not currently making use of Get Involved, how do they get in touch with you and get set up as someone offering these experiences?
well, first of all, any high school student can use this without any cost just by going to www.getinvolved.org.
So it doesn't have to be.
We'll put that at the
Yeah.
bottom of the
Oh,
screen.
yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna have that in the show notes. Yeah. We will.
So go to the website and create an account. That's all there is to it for a student.
And
Okay.
it doesn't have to be affiliated with a particular school. It is all
Yeah.
by student.
Yeah. So if you're
Okay.
homeschooled or
Oh, yeah.
you're in a
Oh,
school
sure.
that doesn't use it, you can go ahead and use it anyway.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And just go ahead and start doing it. It's really easy. But if a school wants to start using it, then they have to contact us, and we take care of creating their first teacher account. That's all it takes is creating a teacher account, and then we give them instructions to hand out to the students. And the case of Brown Deer, I got a call from a teacher in Brown Deer on Thursday. On Friday, I had 4 teacher accounts set up for those teachers, 4 teachers. By Tuesday, students were creating records, and there was never any training. It's just that easy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, really easy, because we know if it's not easy, people won't do it.
Right. And I went out on your website and I was checking it out, and really super impressed by it. And it is very user-friendly and very valuable tool. And I particularly like the fact that when a young person is filling out a form, that it does make them reflect. What did I get out of this experience? And I like that, because a lot of times people will just go through and do a couple of hours here or there, and just to get their hours, and perhaps not really get much out of the experience, or maybe they don't think about it very hard, and they might miss the fact that they actually got something worthwhile. So I love your website.
Well, thank you. I should mention that things are changing in the state of Wisconsin.
Okay.
There's the legislature several years ago did pass Act 25, I think it is, and the act requires that schools, when they report to the DPI, include certain information, and that's used for their accountability report cards that schools get. So you might see our schools get, exceeds expectations or something like that, and that's from the DPI, to assessing that school. Well, coming up in the fall of 2019, it's my understanding, from what I've heard from the accountability office at the DPI, that they're going to start asking for community service hours. They may not count that for the report card itself, but they're going to ask for that. The reason is, when I talk about evidence-based programming, it's now part of the evidence that 25 hours of community service during a high school career correlates with career readiness. And we're all talking about being career ready. Community service counts. It is an indicator of career readiness, and so more and more schools are starting to mandate that their students participate in community service of some sort. Plus, the DPI is going to be asking questions of schools regarding community service. So we expect to see an uptick in the use of the program.
So we are back with Mr. Marvin Now, as well as Mr. Lee Nudelman, local musicians extraordinaire. This is our second visit with Mr. Noodleman, and we'll hear a little bit about his background to refresh your memory if you didn't get a chance to see episode 1 of Two Rivers Talks. And this is our first visit with Mr. Now. We're eager to talk a little bit about his background and history working in the music industry in northern Wisconsin. So welcome to you both.
Thank you for having us today.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Great, great. Well, why don't we start with you and tell us a little bit about your background as a musician and how you ended up in Two Rivers.
All right. Well, I've been a musician, I guess, since the age of 7. I started out on the violin and moved to the clarinet, and then as a teenager, percussion. I played my first bands at 16, right after the Beatles came out, as a drummer. And then I always had an interest in all the different instruments, so then I started playing bass guitar, moved on to piano and guitar, and always played in bands from the age of 16 till present day. Wedding bands, country bands, blues bands. I majored in music in college. I have a degree in music therapy and worked in psychiatric facilities, nursing homes, schools for special education as a music therapist. So my whole life really has been revolved around music, either as a performer or in therapeutic settings.
It's such a broad range of musical styles that you've had experience playing in, and you've done a lot of good for people who have mental health issues, and kind of helping use music to help them with a better therapeutic outcome or calm them down.
Yeah, music is a therapeutic tool to enhance people's growth and enhance their abilities to physical abilities, mental abilities. Worked for the state of Illinois for 25 years as a psychiatric music therapist, activity therapist, and music brings everybody together. I was able to retire about 4 years ago from the state, so I used to go up to Door County with my family for the last 30 years, and thought that if I could retire, I'd like to come up to one of these small towns here, and I always liked Two Rivers, and moved here, and now I've been playing with a fellow Tom here. We have a little two-piece country rockabilly group. We play called Roadside Drifters. No, it isn't. Actually, it's Roadhouse Drifters.
Roadhouse Drifters, okay.
Okay.
I keep messing it up all the time. We call it the Roadkill Drifters.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Let's stick with the Roadhouse.
Yeah. So anyway, I keep screwing that up. But we've played a couple jobs recently here. One over at the Waverly, and I also play jazz piano under well, I call it a real gone cat. And I played here for you.
Yep.
We had a great time here at the Art Gallery, playing for the Two Rivers Businessmen's Association. And we had wine and cheese and crackers and beer, and you made a nice presentation. And background jazz piano is great music for any kind of affair or function, and we had a great time that night. And I had a great time being here and playing it, and it was a lot of fun. So I do things like that as well.
We're really glad you were able to come in and do that.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. I enjoyed it immensely.
That added a lot to the evening.
Yeah, it's great. And you have a great shop here for all kinds of activities, and people should take advantage of it and, come here for parties or weddings or bachelor parties or showers, this is
That'd be great.
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect venue here for this kind of a thing, And, so, I've been active in all those kind of things, and I love Two Rivers here, and it's nice to be able to be part of the musical and artistic community here. And I was really fortunate to meet Marv here about 3 years ago. I was looking for somebody to fix my guitar up, and I contacted Golden Ring Music. And they let me know that Marv here has been doing guitar work, repair work for them for many years. And they said, why don't you contact Marv? And I did, and we got to talking, and he said that he played jazz guitar and all the old standards, and I love the old standards and used to play them with my uncle when I was a little boy, and that's how I learned how to play all those songs. I said, hey, why don't we get together and play them once a week? if you would, you know, I love doing that stuff. I play bass guitar as well as the other instruments. And Marv gave me a call one day and said, why don't you come on down and play, you know? So we started playing. I think it's been about 3 years now, huh, Marv?
Oh,
Pretty
really?
close, yes.
You know, something like that. And we get together every Tuesday morning, about 10 o'clock. We have coffee and tea, and we play the old standards. We probably got 150 songs we run through, and
That's a good sized repertoire.
yeah, you know, we talk about our old band days together, and we share tuxedo pictures from the 60s. And
You're gonna have to share those with us.
I'd love to.
Can we get some of those?
Yeah.
You know, we talk how we play in the little places, and you know, we have a lot of fun together each week, and we both look forward to it greatly. And I know I do. I can't tell you how, I can't believe that I could end up in a small town like this and find somebody that plays this kind of music. I'm blessed to have found Marv, and I cherish his company and I appreciate it. And Marv is a longtime resident of the town here and worked for Two Rivers City here many years. And he's taught me so much about guitar repair, and he's a fountain of knowledge about guitars and equipment, and he repairs amplifiers and tubes, and he's taught me so much, and I've just happy to learn all that stuff.
It's wonderful.
It's great for me, so
Well,
I value our friendship
you,
greatly.
you raise a great point, which is there's just so much seemingly hidden talent in Two Rivers and in the area, and it's so exciting to just keep encountering new people with all kinds
Uncover
of
it, yeah.
really neat
Yeah.
backgrounds and experiences. Marv, thanks for coming on the show with us. Could you talk a little?
Pleasure.
Could you talk a little bit about maybe your early band experiences in northern Wisconsin?
Well, I started out as a farm boy, and I had a pony, and I sold the pony, rode to town with the milkman, bought a guitar, drove my parents nuts. I don't know how they ever put up with it.
That's fantastic.
I'm totally self-taught, and it sounds like it. Anyway,
No, that's not true. We just heard you, and you're great.
You learned well.
You had a good teacher, how's that?
I played a little bit with old timers, and then I went into the service and played a little bit of country. And when I came out of service, I was real lucky. I connected with a couple of guys, a bass man and a lead. He played everything, guitar, vibra harp, banjo, you name it, he played it. And so we were a trio, and we kind of bummed around the North Country, the resort area. Played at Kings Gateway for quite a bit. Played Eagle River, played Minocqua. We had a ball. We were three guys that really enjoyed what we were doing. And, so it just kind of grew a little bit from there. But my most enjoyable experience is playing with small groups. Yeah, we could put a larger group together if we had a prom to do, or maybe somebody's anniversary. But just playing duet or trio is kind of my speed. And, those old tunes that the big bands played was what I grew up with and what I enjoy to play the most.
And I recognize the old tunes because that's what my parents used to listen to, and gave me a great appreciation for some of the old standards because they're treasures.
Yeah,
They
you know,
really
a lot
are.
of people don't play those much anymore. It's kind of a dying art, I think, because you know, kids today don't play instruments as much, and the old standards are kind of going by the wayside, I think. So it's
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why it was such a treat to have you guys come in today and to play those for us. And I know our audience, I'm sure that they certainly enjoyed listening. You guys were fantastic, and thank you so much for coming.
We're happy to be here.
Would you someday come back?
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I'm gonna hold you to it then. So it was so nice to meet you, Marv. Thank you so much.
Same here. It's been a pleasure.
And Lee, like always.
Mark, we appreciate it. I'll get you first and pardon my reach. Nice to have you both. Thanks for coming on.
For having us. We enjoyed it.
And if anybody wants to have a gig with the
What's it called?
Drifters.
Roadhouse Drifters. You can contact myself at 847-721-5579. We play classic country from the 40s, 50s, 60s, even earlier. Old rockabilly music from the 50s and some blues. And if you ever want to have some standards, nice classy standards, Marvin and I will be happy to come play for you as well.
That would be wonderful.
So, what's the name of the first song again?
If I Had You.
If I Had You. All right, we ready here? All right, well, the first song we'd like to do for you here is an old, when was the song written, you know?
Have no idea.
It's an oldie anyway, it's called If I Had You. Take it away there, Marv. Okay, go ahead. All right, go ahead. I don't remember. You made it.
Far out.
Now Noodleman. Lee and Marvin.
And now,
Yeah, Lee and Marvin.
Lee and Marvin.
I know.
Wow.
I know. How ironic is that? Well, anyway, if you're younger than us, you probably don't understand who Lee Marvin is. But anyway, so thank you for joining us, and thank you. Today was successful.
Excellent day. Yes.
We had a lot of really good guests. We will see you out on the streets, Two Rivers.
See you.
Bye-bye.